Hello everyone, this is SL Kadam. Welcome back in my class. In the last lecture we started reading the text on to the summit, we reached the top. Before that we had discussion regarding icebreakers section. We had discussed some activities over there. After that we had gone through brief introduction of the writer. In that we discussed how respective governments awarded Tenzing Norgay with different titles, how the acknowledgement was done by Indian government. I have told you he has been awarded Padma Bhushan by Indian government, and it's one of the prestigious awards of India. Okay, by you know King of Tribhuvan, Nepal, Star of Nepal, then Tiger Medal by Himalayan Club. These are his achievements. We started reading the text, and what we have been discussing the journey of Tenzing Norgay with his friend Edmund Hillary to the top of Mount Everest. How they reached there, and how they plan, what difficulties they faced, what kind of mindset, what temperament they had while being there, while going there, that we have been discussing. I told you in the last class the first two striking sentences which indicate that how much desperate Tenzing was to reach the top of Mount Everest. He was ready to sacrifice his life for the sake of his goal. Okay, so I told you, when it happens, when the purpose of your life is more than the purpose of your existence, at that time one can feel in this way. So that has happened with Tenzing. He was not afraid of death. On Friday they left that camp, and steadily they started reaching to the top. Sometimes Edmund would lead the expedition, and he would make the way ready for both of them. And other time Tenzing would lead the way, and in this way, with a good team spirit, they would move ahead. Okay, meanwhile writer has shared the instructions given by Colonel Hunt. Who is Colonel Hunt? The leader of the expedition. Colonel Hunt gave Tenzing 3 flags, and he was told to hoist those flags after reaching to Mount Everest. Okay, but Tenzing wanted to carry one more flag, and that was India's flag. So he took permission from Colonel Hunt, and after that, what happens? We are going to discuss today. We are on page number 17, and that is about Indian flag. See, Colonel Hunt said, "By all means, I am glad to know that you brought an Indian flag." It means Colonel was very happy to know that Tenzing wanted to carry one more flag with him. So he told him that he was very much pleased to know that he was carrying an Indian flag. After 1 hour of steady going, we cut across from the south face and started up the west side, where we had to pass up a steep line of rocks. It means Colonel allowed Tenzing to go ahead with Indian flag, and in this way they started the journey. It means that was the final scaling, or they were about to reach the top of the Mount Everest. So what exactly they experienced, that is being discussed in that paragraph. See, after 1 hour of steady going, steady means consistent, STEADY, you must have heard that word. We cut across from the south face, it means from the south direction, and started up the west side, where we had to pass up a steep line of rocks. Steep, STEEP. Steep means angular, slope. Okay, line of rocks means too many rocks were there, they had to pass over them. This was slow and difficult. It means very cautiously they moved ahead from that point. Any mistake, any miscalculation would be dangerous for both of them. I told you, accidents might happen, and many mountaineers might have lost their temperament, lost their patience, or they might have fallen down, and that might have caused that expedition. So every time, all time, one has to be very careful and cautious while moving ahead, especially while climbing Mount Everest. One has to be very careful, that the writer wants to convey. Okay, once we had cleared these, there was nothing barring our way to top but a snow covered incline. Very cleverly and systematically they passed that obstacle. And after that, once we had cleared these, there was nothing barring means BARRING, very good word it is. Barring means restricting or stopping. Nothing was there to stop them from reaching the final point except one thing, and that is what? Snow covered incline. Snow covered incline means a very incline, INCLINE, ascent or rising snowy path or snowy mountain. That was the next obstacle, next barrier before them. It means one after another they were overcoming the obstacles, barriers, the difficulties, the challenges, the adversities they were facing. There is one very beautiful sentence regarding difficulties. You must have heard that difficulties don't come to destroy us. Whenever you face any difficulty, any crisis, any deadlock, any adverse situation in life, you should not get affected. You should not get frustrated by the difficulties. Remember, difficulties in life, the challenges in life don't come to stop you, don't come to spoil you, don't come to destroy you. So why they come then? Difficulties come to make you realize your hidden potential and power. When you come to know what you are, when you are in difficulties, when you are surrounded by crisis, when you are completely surrounded by critical time, at that time you come to know what you are as a human being. What is your strength, what is your weakness, you discover in difficult times, not in good times, not in favorable times. Remember, so difficulties are very important in life, and we must welcome them, we must embrace them, because difficulties make you a better person, not bitter person. Okay, so let the difficulties know that you are difficult to beat. Beat means no difficulty can beat you, can defeat you. That kind of mindset one should have, or you should have. Tenzing Norgay wants to convey all of us that it means with his friend, they tried to overcome every difficulty. Okay, they did not surrender before any challenge. They were very optimistic. They had a certain plan to overcome every challenge, and in this way, by covering or by passing behind all the obstacles, they were marching ahead towards the top of the Mount Everest. Remember, these things happen in everyone's life. Suppose you want to become doctor. Everybody wants to become doctor these days. Suppose NEET is your dream. So while hitting that target, it means for getting 550 plus, for crossing 600 marks, you have to overcome so many challenges. Physics, chemistry, bio, many lessons of physics are very difficult. You may get disappointed, you may get demoralized, but you cannot stop, you cannot get frustrated. You have to find solution, and you have to move ahead. By working hard, you can defeat physics, you can defeat chemistry, and in this way you will be victorious. So keep in mind that your mental state is very important whenever any adverse situation comes in life, or whenever any challenge comes in life. Okay, no difficulty can defeat you, remember. Okay, so that the writer wants to convey here. This was slow and difficult. Once we had cleared these, there was nothing barring our way to top but a snow covered incline, sloping less and less as it neared the top. It means steadily and slowly that snow covered area getting less and less sloping. It means initially that appeared to be troublesome, challenging for them, but they decided to go ahead, and later on that challenge, appeared to be easy for them, and very nicely and properly they overcame that issue. The last 60 or 70 feet up the top were not very dangerous. Okay, but we kept up the same steady pace. Pace, very beautiful word. PACE. You must have heard that word in cricket. Pace of the bowler, pace of Braitley, pace of Jasprit Bumrah. Pace means speed. So they maintained the speed steadily. They did not get excited. This is very important. When you are near to your goal, then also when you see that you are near to your goal, when you are able to visualize your goal, and you know that after some time you could reach the target, at that time also you should not lose your patience. Remember, have patience, maintain patience, don't make silly mistake at last moment. It happens many times. You must have observed that many players got out on 90s, in 1990s. So that is what, when you lose your patience, when you become more excited to achieve the success. Okay, so that is very important. You should handle your excitement. Okay, sometimes your mismanagement, miscalculations can cost you that event or that target. So that the writer wants to convey, even though they could be able to visualize the top of the mountain, or even though they would be nearer to the top of the mountain, they did not make hurry. They maintain the same steady pace. This is very, very important. So that is the message writer wants to convey all of us. Don't be in hurry when you are near to the goal. It is very important to be calm and quiet. Okay, and we reached the small flattened summit almost together. Flatten means flat. Summit, they together reach that area. It means earlier place of Mount Everest, earlier spot of Mount Everest. They reached almost together there. During the last 50 feet from the peak, Hillary and I were moving about 20 feet apart. So what was the distance between them? Hillary would be just 20 feet ahead of Tenzing. It means almost together they were heading towards Mount Everest. We were tied together with a rope. Tied, Tied, tie. They held each other. They got tightened each other with a rope. Most of the time the rope was loose. Loose. It's very, very important word. Loose. Frequently we use the word loose. Loose is not verb. Many students get confused. Loose is here adjective. Okay, Lose, loose is verb. Loose is adjective, and Lose is verb, and lost is the verb 2 form. Lost is verb 3 form. India lost the match. Delhi Capitals lost the semi-finals. Lost, lost, that is V2. Loose, that's a different thing. Different thing means meaning is nearer, but that the verb, that the part of the speech of that word is different. Remember, it's not verb. Loose. Okay, so most of the time the rope was loose. Everybody knows the meaning of loose. But when we went over dangerous ground, we drew it taut. Taut. Very, very interesting word it is. Taut means rigid, tight word. Everybody knows opposite of loose. Loose. It's taut or taut. 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 That means rigid, tight. So whenever they would feel any dangerous thing around, they would hold each other tightly. That rope, which would be initially loose, would be tightened by them. In this way they would support each other. They would hold each other tightly. When we went over dangerous ground, we drew it taut. Drew means they would tighten the rope. Okay, so please you underline the word taut, T-A-U-T, and that means to tighten or to rigid or to pull something tight, that you can understand. This rope was a symbol, it tied us together. Very beautiful sentence. Just like, in family members remain together with an invisible bond, that bond, invisible bond of love, affection, intimacy, kindness. That bond holds all the family members together. In the same way here, one visible thing, actually one visible thing, that is rope, held them together. It's a symbol of what? Symbol of unity. With that rope they would get united, they would feel get united. Okay, they would feel fearless about anything. It tied us together. One could not move without the other. That is the unity. That is the team spirit. With the help of rope, they would feel, integrated with each other, or together. Unity they would feel. One could not move without the another. That indicates integration. We were not two individuals but a team. This is very interesting again. We were not two individuals but a team. This is called as team spirit. There is one sentence about friendship. Regarding to friendship, I would like to explain this. What is friendship? Friendship means, or what you would say when two friends meet. Friends or friendship means, one soul in two bodies. When one soul resides in two bodies, they are called as true friends, and that is called as friendship. Okay, it is applicable in team also. Just like in cricket, 11 players play on the ground. All those 11 players must have one soul. One soul means what? One mindset, one feeling, one common goal, one common attitude, one common spirit. Then that team would work unitedly, would deliver the results miraculously. Okay, when there are differences among the players, you can't expect good results. So one team, one goal, one mind, when you have that kind of mindset, definitely you would expect the good results. So that the writer wants to convey here. We were not two individuals. For the world they were two individuals, they were two bodies, but mentally they were one. Whatever Edmund would feel, the same kind of feeling would be felt by Tenzing. And whenever or whatever would be the plan, or whatever would be the thinking of Tenzing, that would be the plan, or that would be the thinking of Edmund. That is called as oneness of interest, integration with each other or one another here. Okay, we were not two individuals but a team. Okay, writer wants to convey here what is required, or what kind of temperament is required to achieve something impossible in life, something gigantic in life, something heroic in life. What kind of attitude one must have. Team is very important sometimes in life. Team spirit is very important, that the writer wants to convey. I have been asked many times, who was the first? After completing that expedition, after completing that adventurous journey, whenever they would be interviewed by the reporters, by the journalists, they would be asked who reached the Mount Everest first. They started together. Wherever they would go together. But sometimes, he would be 20 feet ahead, or he would be behind. It means Tenzing. Sometimes Tenzing would be ahead, Edmund Hillary would be behind. But they would not mind that, because they knew what they were doing, and they did not have that kind of bias mindset with each other. Okay, who was first? When we were within reach of the summit, I did not think of who was going to be first. Though they started from the bottom together, when they were about to reach the top, at that time also they did not lose their team spirit, or they did not behave in a contradictory way at that time. There also they went together, or sometimes he would be ahead and sometimes Hillary would be behind, but they did not mind about that. I did not think of who was going to be first. I am sure that Hillary was not thinking that. Their goal was only one, and that was reaching the top. Who would reach the top first, that did not matter to any one of them. That is very important. Okay, so I am sure that Hillary was not thinking that climbing takes all your attention. They were obsessed with that goal only. They were haunted by that target only. They were desperate to hit the target at any cost. They did not care who would reach the top first, who would be second. They did not mind about all these things. You have many more important worries. Worries means here, problems, tensions. Okay, so they did not care about such silly things, such personal, ambitions. They did not think about these things. What does it matter whether I reach the top first or Hillary? This is very important sentence. It is called as a rhetorical question. Okay, what does it matter whether I reach the top first or Hillary? You must have heard rhetorical question or rhetorical question. This is a question where answer is not expected. We make such kind of sentences to make a forceful statement, emphatic statement. Every now and then in day-to-day life we make such kind of statements. Rhetorical. Okay, what is the expected meaning of this sentence? What does it matter? It means it doesn't matter. When the question is positive, the effect is negative, and when the question is negative, effect is positive. For example, just like in your mother tongue you make such kind of statements, or in English also we make such kind of statements. For example, how can you insult me? How can you beat me? How can you treat me like that? How can you treat me like that? How can you insult me? How can you beat me? What all these sentences mean? How can you insult me means you cannot insult me. How can you beat me means you cannot beat me. Okay, how can you treat me like that means you cannot treat me like that. Okay, sometimes that you can have without WH word rhetorical questions using modal auxiliaries or using some auxiliary verbs. For example, shouldn't we elect honest leaders? Shouldn't we elect honest leaders? Yes, of course we have to elect honest leaders. Shouldn't we save trees? Of course we have to save trees. I have used shouldn't, negative question, but meaning is positive. Answer is not expected here. Listener is not expected to give any answer. Listener has to agree with the speaker's statement. That is called a rhetorical question. For example, who wants to die? Should you say I want to die? No. Nobody wants to die. That it means who wants to die. If I ask, or if I say who wants to fail, nobody wants to fail. That it means. Okay, who doesn't want money? Everybody wants money. That it means. Okay, so these are the WH questions, and very frequently we use. Here also writer has used rhetorical question. Sorry. What does it matter whether I reach the top first or Hillary? It means it doesn't matter whether I reach the top first or Hillary. Our main thought was that both of us reach the top. That was their common goal, that they had to reach the top at any cost. Who would reach first? They did not mind, they did not care. Okay, that is called as team spirit. Okay, one couldn't do it alone. We had to means we had to hit the goal, we had to reach the target, and one couldn't do it alone. One couldn't do it alone means it's not possible without each other's help, each other's support. Okay, so that was in their mind, and they were heading towards their target aggressively with dedication, with fighting spirit. They were marching ahead towards their target. Okay, if there had been a difference of 1000 feet between us, then one could make the claim that he was first. Okay, the difference of distance between them was very, very thin, razor thin, we would say, just 20 feet. Okay, and that was negligible. If there had been a difference of 1000 feet between us, then one could make the claim that he was first. He was first means Edmund Hillary was first. But they were exactly, nearer to each other, just 20 feet away from each other, and that was negligible distance that the writer wants to convey. This is very important sentence. If you look at the sentence of the last paragraph of page number 17, if there had been a difference of 1000, had been a difference, this is past perfect tense. Using if, writer has tried to make us understand what had not happened in the past time that he has mentioned. If you want to convey that something should not have happened or something should have happened in the past time, you have to use this construction. What is that construction? If plus subject plus past perfect tense. If plus subject plus past perfect tense, and in the next sentence, it means in the next clause, you have to use subject plus either could, would, should, might plus have plus V3. I would tell you one example. This is very common example. If I had worked hard, it means if I had studied hard, I could have scored more marks. If I had studied hard. See, if I subject had studied past perfect tense, if I had studied hard, comma, I could have, could plus have scored. I could have scored more marks. What the writer wants to convey, or what the speaker wants to convey here, if I had studied hard, it means I did not study hard in the past, so I did not score more marks. But I regret now. I feel sorry today. It's useless to feel sorry today, but that has happened. You cannot change the past. Okay, no one can change the past. What you can change future. How can you change your future? By working hard in the present. But many times we feel sorry over our past mistakes, past issues. Okay, but that happens in life. We can only regret. Okay, so in the same way, we make many statements. You should be able to use this construction very effectively in day-to-day life. For example, if he had invited me, I would have attended his party. If he had invited me, I would have attended his party. What the speaker wants to say here, it means he did not invite him or me here, therefore I did not attend his party. Right? So this is the construction, past perfect plus here perfect construction, that is called as perfect conditional sentence in the next clause. And very often we use this. For example, in the cricket match, if Delhi Capitals had restricted Mumbai Indians to 150, if Delhi Capitals had restricted or stopped Mumbai Indians to 150, Delhi Capitals might have won the match. What happened? Everybody knows. Delhi Capitals failed to stop Mumbai Indians to 150. Mumbai Indians scored 200. Therefore, Delhi Capitals lost the match. Did not win the match. These are the sentences. So you should understand what is the meaning of this sentence. Okay, keep making your own sentences, keep using this construction. What is the order of the sentence? What is the tense used in the sentence? See, if plus subject plus Past perfect tense. Past perfect tense means had plus V3, and in the next sentence, it means in the next clause, subject plus you can use one of these modal auxiliary verbs: could, should, must, might, okay, or sometimes would also. 5 out of 5 or out of 4 you can use one, and after these modal auxiliaries, after one of these modal auxiliaries, you have to use have plus V3. You can use passive voice also. Just like, many times you park your bike or your car in wrong parking area, and the traffic policeman fines you. At that time, what you feel? If I had parked, if I had parked my bike in parking zone, if I had parked my bike in parking zone, the traffic policeman might not have fined me. You can make passive also. I would not have been fined. I would not have been fined. Yeah, have been fined. That is passive voice. Okay, so these are the different things, or the information about this construction. Then one could make the claim that he was first. But even then, only the man behind him could confirm the distance between the two of them. It means they had too much understanding, too much maturity about each other, and they did not mind about who would be ahead, who would be behind. Okay, perfect understanding, mutual understanding was there between them. But even then, only the man behind him would confirm the distance between the two of them. So, in this way, he wanted to share with all of us that controversy which occurred after the completion of the expedition that the writer has mentioned here. When we reached Kathmandu, we discovered that a controversy had arisen. Controversy is very common these days. Journalists, TV channels, news journalists like to create controversies. They are very much interested to create a rift between between the two persons or among the people by creating fake, by creating controversies, by planting fake news, by spreading rumors and liars. You all witness these days how news channels instead of broadcasting news, how they keep telling lie, or keep entertaining the people. Okay, so that might have happened with them, and how they manage that controversy, we talked it over, Hillary, Colonel Hunt and I, when people were discussing that Hillary reached the top first, or somebody might have said that Tenzing reached the top. So that was the debate going on, the controversy going on. So they decided to settle that controversy, and they came together, they discussed that issue. Who discussed? Actually, it was not the controversy created by Hillary or Tenzing, it was created by others. And in this way, they felt that they had to meet the press, they had to come before the media, and they had to settle down that controversy. So they decided, we agreed that all the talk was childish. All the talk was childish means, which talk was childish? Who reached the first? Okay, who reached the first? That was the childish talk according to them, and they decided to clear that issue before the people, that misunderstanding before the people. So we made a pact. P-A-C-T. Pact means what? Agreement. And each of us signed it in the office of the Prime Minister of Nepal. So before the controversy would increase more, they decided to settle it. Okay, they decided to diffuse that tension. Okay, and each of us signed that. They made an agreement. Pact means what? Agreement. An accord, it can be called as accord, ACCORD, or general word is agreement. And each of us signed it in the office of the Prime Minister of Nepal. It means official document they released, and they signed on that paper, and that was the unanimous decision or unanimous mindset of both of them. I have a copy of Hillary's statement which I carry in my pocket. Means whenever any reporter would ask Tenzing that who reached first, then he would show the copy of Hillary, signed copy of Hillary to the reporter. In this way, he would, stop the controversy. It reads, Kathmandu, June 22, 1953. So that agreement, that statement mentioned in the agreement is mentioned in the present in the next paragraph that we would read in the next session, in the next class. Okay, so this is how up to here. Please read, try to understand the meanings of difficult words. If you have any doubt, you can call me, you can post your doubts on my WhatsApp number. I will help you. I would like to help you all time. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.